So just to be clear, so parents, if they wanted to watch this video, yes, this unit, the kids are allowed to use calculators. That is allowed to use calculators. So enjoy it while it lasts, kids. All right. Simple and compound interest. The bank uses your money to make investments on and give loans, and in return what they do is they pay you interest. They pay you interest. So what happens is this. If I put into a bank $200, if I put into a bank $200, and one of you came to that bank and said, I need a loan for $50, please. You took out a loan for $50. They're actually using money that came from me and other people that are storing their money there. And the way that the banks say thank you for that is they give interest. And as we just learned in the previous slideshow, it makes your money earn money. They're like, hey, thanks for letting us use your money to give out. Here's the money. You ever heard the term, remember FDIC, at the end of bank commercials? Federally insured by FDIC. What that is that's the insurance thing saying, hey, I gave you $5,000. The bank goes bankrupt. They're like, well, where's my $5,000? They're insured so you can get that money back. That's what that is. Money you earn in your savings account each year is called simple interest. Simple interest. Now that interest is different than when you see someone that you're attracted to. Okay? Okay, a couple of you got it. Interest paid more than once a year is called, who remembers from what we talked about earlier? Good, yes. Compound interest. I know. Compound interest. Yes, thank you. You guys are on today. Yes. So we have simple interest. Now here's an example of what's happening. So there's going to be one skill that we're going to have to remember how to do when we do this. So simple interest. Assume you have $425 in your savings account. At the end of the year, the bank will pay you 5% interest. How much interest did you earn in 1 year? What we have to remember how to do in this one, and the first thing that you're going to do whenever we're working on these, is you are going to convert 5% into a decimal. Into a decimal. And what is that? Do you know? 0.5, good guess. That's a very common mistake, Abby. 0.05, yes. And that's because 5% is actually 5 over 100. And when you divide 5 by 100, you get 0.05. So we know that we're going to do something with that. Our next step is going to be we take how much money we have, our principal, we multiply that by what our interest rate is. So we do 425 multiplied by 0.05. So I get out my band, my contraband. Yep, the world conquering device in CSI. So we have $21.25. $21.25. What did I just find there? How much I gained. Now, I could do two things. If they're asking me how much I gained, I would write $21.25 interest, because there are words in the question, so there's going to be words in the answer. And I'm going to circle that, but I'm going to make sure that that's the question they're asking. How much interest did you earn in 1 year? Yes, I answered the question they're asking. A lot of people on the Common Assessment had trouble actually answering the question being asked. Okay? So it's asking how much interest there was. What's another thing that they probably could have asked with that question, you suppose? What else could they have asked? What could they have asked? Yeah. Thank you. Yes. What's your current balance? Right? How much money's in the bank? Okay. That's another thing they could have asked, and all we would have had to do there is add 2125 to 425, and that would have been $446.25. Next one. Assume you have $1,200 in your bank account. In your savings account. At the end of the year, the bank will pay you 2.5% interest. Boom. Right there, I need to change 2.5% into a decimal. 2.5%. Yeah.
0.021.
Yes. Good. Yes. So what he did is he divided 2.5, divided by 100, and since there's two zeros in its division, the decimal goes 2 spots to the left. Then it's the same thing as I did before. I'm just going to multiply my principal. Oops. By my percentage. Oops. 1,200 multiplied by 0.25. And I got 30. 30. And what are they asking? How much interest did you earn in 1 year? Good. So I can tell them that I earned $30 interest in 1 year. $30 interest in 1 year. Now, this one gets a little bit more interesting. Tomorrow it's going to be a lot more challenging than today, but today's just the intro anyway. So we have figure your interest semi-annually. So that means it's going to happen twice. And this is compound interest, so that means that they build on each other. So we have, assume you have $400 in your savings account. And the interest rate is 5% per year. Now, it's compounded semi-annually, but the 5% is per year. So if it were just the end of the year balance, you don't have to write this part, it would be 5%, right? Okay? However, it's done twice. So what is, if that's the full year's 5%, what's half of the year?
2.4.
Yes, we have 2.5%. This one is going to be 2.5% at that point, and then we could do another 2.5% coming up. Okay, it happens twice in that year. So I have 2.5%, so I can do 2.5% twice. Because it's going to happen at 2.5% and 2.5%. It's compounded semi-annually. So now I just have to take 2.5% and make it a decimal. Now I just go back to what we were doing before. I have 400 multiplied by 0.05. What? 0.025. 10. So that is how much money I have after, or how much money is the interest after 6 months. So I have 400 plus 10. That's a really tough math problem there, but I'm doing it so people can see what's going on. I have $410. $410 now, after 6 months. Now I have to find the other amount that's going. We had the first one was $400 because that's how we had at the beginning of that 6 months. But at the beginning of the new 6 months, how much money do we have in our bank? How much money do we have in our bank? At the beginning, there's no 120 anywhere. If this is at the end of the 6 months, and I'm asking you how much money is at the beginning of the next 6 months, so okay, you were watching the Rams game the other day. At halftime, it was what, 6-6? Okay, so at halftime, so when the end of the second quarter, darn it, when the second quarter ended, it was 6-6. But what was the score when they kicked off for the third quarter? 6-6. So if the end of the half a year balance was 410, what is it going into the second half of the year? 410. Okay, good. So we now have 410. We're going to multiply that once again by 0.025 because that is our new amount of money that we have to find 2.5% of. Yeah, it was exciting though.
How is it exciting?
So now we have $10.25. Look at the difference here. Look at the difference there of compounded versus non-compounded. If it was just 2.5%, it would only be 10, but we added onto itself, so now it's $10.25. So I'm going to add 410 to $10.25. I have $420.25. Because you do the maths. 410 times 0.025. 410 multiplied by 0.025. $10.20. Or sorry, $10.25. You see that? And since that's the amount of interest that I had, I have to add that to the amount of money that was in the bank already. So 410 plus $10.25. Simple interest compounded annually. We got to zip through these. Simple interest compounded annually. Whenever you see these things, I want you to right away find the percentage as a decimal. So right now I want you to go through all these and make each one a decimal. Do that right now. Hi.
So it's what was the ratio of both ones to all of the items? Is it all of them combined or individually?
You're adding more words. That's a very common mistake on that one. Just don't add more words, and it's right there in front of you. Okay? Or it might help also to just visualize that actual drawer. Okay? You guys have 10 minutes. Yes? This is for the district use. Correct. No, but if you know what you're doing, then you're good for this whole semester then.
Yeah, I thought you were on the top. Yeah.
No. Hmm?
Okay.
Okay, listen to the words that I do. Don't just be like monkey see, monkey do. All right, so we have 0.06 here. We have 0.04, 0.05. So in order to get this, since it's the simple interest, it's interest annually, all I have to do is multiply. I'm going to do the work over here. 255. Ooh. Multiplied by 0.06. Get my... And I get 15.3, but since it's money, that means $15.30. So, and it's asking me how much is the interest? $15.30. $15.30. 572. .04. I did all the stuff that I could mess up in first, so now I can use a calculator. $22.88. Okay, good. Next one, 680 multiplied by 5%. See how I'm still writing what multiplication I'm doing even though I'm doing it on a calculator? That's how you show your work when you're using a calculator. Because I want to be able to tell you, hey, you did this wrong at this step, so we need to make sure we do this next time, blah, blah, blah. And that's just a flat $34. And here's something to point out. Look how the earnings for 1 year, these ones are going up, even though the percentages are going down. See that? See how the percentages are getting lower for number 1, 2, then 3? But it's because it's the amount of money that you have put in there. Usually the amount of annual interest is going to be something like 0.04%. But the thing is, people put hundreds of thousands of dollars that are really wealthy. So there's $100,000. That means they're getting $4,000 a year just handed to them by the banks going, hey, thanks for letting us use your money. And obviously the banks charge more for people to loan than they give out. That's the way they make money. All right, now this one, now the ones that are a little bit more difficult. I didn't get to this one in 5th period, so I'm glad we're doing it now. So we have 2.5% that we need to find, and that would be 0.025 because it's semi-annually. So it means halfway through the year and then halfway through the year. So our half-year balance, we're going to have to multiply 535 by 0.025 because that's how you move the decimal over when you divide by 100. 535 multiplied by $13 and 37.5 cents, right? 38 cents. Good, because we don't, unless we're the fantasy land of selling fuel, we don't go in the third decimal point. Now it's asking us what the balance is, so I have to add 535 plus $13.38. And I'm going to get $548.38. So that's my new balance. So now I have to get the other half of the year. So I do 548.38 multiplied by how much again? You with me? Okay. What am I multiplying it by? Thank you, Avery. You're still with me. 0.025. As it says right here. Hopefully you guys, since you're so zoned out right now, I see that you're all writing what you should. Hopefully you review this when you get home before you start the homework. So I have $548.38. It's compounded, so I have to use that as my new 548.38 multiplied by 8 multiplied by $13.71. $13.71. So I have to add that now to what? Yeah. Good. 548.38. Yep. 548.38. So I'm going to do this. $38 plus 1371. $562.09. Thank you. $562.09. Sweet. At that interest rate, you're getting almost $30. That's fantastic.
I'm getting
Okay, and as I pass out the no, I got to tell you guys about the homework. Oh, yeah, we got time. Do this one. Do this one. Actually, do that one, and I will pass out and then explain the homeworks. So as you all are, I see so many of you just sitting there doing nothing right now. You should be working on this one. Same concept as the one before it. Sorry. Darn it. Okay. Looks like my watch is off now, too.